bring in Tony Dungy from Football Night in America. Tony, do you cut down your own Christmas tree?
No, we go artificial.
Okay.
Yeah, a little easier for us.
All right, just wanted to make sure because we're debating if we want to go out and chop down our own tree. Thank you for joining us, Tony. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, I think it'd be a good idea for you. That natural Christmas tree is always better.
Yeah, it's a little tougher in Florida, though, I think.
Yes,
so.
Yes, it is.
All right, give me the teams that should be nervous, the fan bases that should be nervous out of this group. Cowboys, Arizona, 49ers. Who should be the most nervous out of those three on getting to the playoffs or winning in the playoffs?
I would say all of the above, but the Cowboys can control things. They've got to go win in Chicago this week. Chicago does not have a great run defense. They should be able to get the job done there. And then they've got to beat Indianapolis at home. Somehow they've got to play well at home. But we know what their struggles have been in December. They didn't play great against Philadelphia. That would have me a little concerned if I were a Cowboy fan. Arizona, they've got to get better quarterback play. Their defense and the way their running game is now with Ellington a little banged up, Drew Stanton has got to make some plays. San Francisco, I'm just not sure that 10-6 is going to make it in. They've got 5 losses, and I don't see them going to Seattle and winning, so I would be extremely nervous.
Okay, explain to me why everybody else wants Jim Harbaugh, but the Niners don't.
I'm not sure what happens. I guess they say familiarity breeds contempt. Jim has done a great job there. The players like him. I'm not sure what is going on in that building where you don't have this straightened out already, but obviously something is wrong there.
Is Colin Kaepernick regressing?
I don't know that he's regressing. I think they just have to build on what he does well. And what that is run the read option and take shots down the field. It's not a situation where he's going to throw 35, 40 passes a game. He's going to look great in the pocket. They've got to run Frank Gore. They've got to get him, Kaepernick, outside on some of the scramble plays and let him create, and then design some stuff where he's taking those big shots up the field. He's not going to be an Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady type thrower. They've got to build on what he does. But I think he can be fine if they do what he does well.
I just don't think they use his talents, Tony. We talked about this when we're watching the Niners. There are times when you go, there's nothing dramatic about what he does, even though he can be a dramatic player.
Yeah, you've got to build it around running game and big plays. And that's what he brought to the table, and that's why he was so dynamic early on. They were running the ball. They put a lot of pressure on you to defend him running, and then that opened up some one-on-ones. And then you don't have to make great throws all the time. You just have to make a couple of big plays.
What did the Packers-Patriots game tell you?
It told me that these are probably the 2 best teams in football. I was really impressed with the Patriots, even though they lost the ball game. Going into Lambeau is tough. Aaron Rodgers has been hot. And I thought they played well enough to win. Their offensive line only gave up 1 sack, but it was at the most inopportune time. But on a neutral field, those guys would play a great game if it gets down to the Super Bowl. Green Bay is hot right now, and defensively, they're playing better than I ever imagined they would. Moving Clay Matthews around and putting him inside is really seemed to help solidify that defense.
He's Tony Dungy from Football Night in America joining us. Dan Patrick Schell. Manziel or Hoyer against the Colts this weekend?
I would still play Brian Hoyer. I mean, you made the decision all the way through training camp, what you saw, the first part of the season. You're still in the race. And so I think I would have to ride with Brian Hoyer and just say, you know what, you got one more shot, we've got to win, and you got to do it for us. I'm still not sold that Manziel gives them the best chance, even though he might create some big plays that Hoyer can't right now.
We talked about this with the Giants losing to the Jaguars after being up 21-0. You said that you would hope that Tom Coughlin would step down. They don't fire. The Giants aren't going to fire him, but that he would step down. Rodney went on to say that he thought that maybe it was time to change quarterbacks as well. Where do you stand? I know Coughlin, you said it's time for a coaching change. What about with Eli Manning?
I don't think you change quarterbacks. There just aren't that many great quarterbacks in the NFL. Eli Manning can play the game. They've got some flaws on that team. And part of it is Eli not playing well, but part of that, the reason he's not playing well, he's trying to do too much and has to do too much. They've got to some young receivers that are going to be good. Eli Manning can play the game. I just think they need a rebuilding around the rest of the team.
Would you take Ray Rice back?
You know, we talked about this on the show, Dan. I believe you got to look at Ray Rice and see, have you grown from this? He made a terrible mistake, but he has paid the penalty. He paid the penalty that the league laid out. He's lost 12 games. He's lost several $1 million. He's paid the penalty that the judicial system has laid out. Now sit down with him. Have you learned from this? Can you be a face of something that's helping this issue of domestic violence out? Can you go out and speak positively and say, yeah, I made a mistake. I want to make it right. And then can you play? Those are the two things you have to figure out. But I think he's paid a penalty, and we can't just say no matter what happens, you can never play again.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's ready to play. I would hope that he would say the following. I want to get my life in order, and I owe it to my wife that I'm going to take the rest of this year off. I hope to play next year. I hope somebody will look at what I've been able to do as a person, and they will give me the opportunity because they know I can play football. That's what I would love to hear. Now you're going to get these owners who are going to say, well, yeah, we're not interested, but if we do need a running back, then maybe we would take a chance on him. I think it can be a little hypocritical, but I would start with Ray Rice. I would hope that he would say, I'm going to take the rest of this year off, and, I proved that I wasn't ambiguous. I told the truth, but it's more important that I have my family life in order than it is my football life.
Well, I think that is true, and hopefully that's what he's been doing the last 3 months. But unfortunately, all the focus has been on what did he say, what did the video, who had it, all these things that should have been solved a long time ago. We really don't know where Ray Rice is on that regard, and I think that's part of the problem.
But, Tony, why aren't the Ravens taking him back? Of all of the places, the environments where he could go back and be understood, treated maybe fairly, they know who he is, his community service, he has a track record of doing good things, they know him as a player, he knows them, knows the playbook. Why aren't the Ravens involved in this?
I agree with you. We'll see what happens, what the Ravens say, and that would be a good place to start, where you're best known. And you're right, all the things that they said before the video came out about what a great person he was and a great teammate, and they said that he told the truth. So I would think that would be a logical spot.
Can the Jets beat the Dolphins tonight?
I really don't think so. I think Miami has too much defense, and they've got too much at stake. I think they'll play well, and then that'll set up a big game with the Dolphins and Baltimore next week.
Safe travels as always, Tony. Great seeing you this week. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
All right. Tony Dungy.